Hey guys, it's Hannah from Blind Mum vs the World, and today is Nystagmus Awareness Day. I find these days so important. I think there are a lot of misconceptions about the condition, and obviously there's a lot of people that aren't going to know about it at all, so I'll try and fit as much as I can into this video without it being too long. Nystagmus is a condition that affects the eyes. It causes involuntary eye movements. They can be in all different directions, different speeds, etc., depending on what type of the condition you have, because there are a few different ones. I have pendular nystagmus, which means my eyes move from side to side, so I'll just try and quickly show you a little bit. See my eyes twitching a little bit there. Sometimes it went blurry. Let me try again. Yeah, there you go. That's what it is. It looks different on everyone. Sometimes it's a twitch, sometimes it's a bit more of a dramatic movement from side to side, and sometimes my head wobbles from side to side as well. It's almost like a reflex, my head trying to keep in time with my eyes. I have nystagmus as a result of albinism, but you can have the condition on its own. You can also have it with other conditions. Usually it comes with having poor vision. You can have nystagmus and not have poor vision, but a lot of the time they come hand in hand. It also affects balance and depth perception, I would say, are the two main things that it affects. For me, it affects reading quite a lot. When it's as simple as my eyes move and it makes other things look like they're moving. So when I'm looking at words, it looks like often that the letters move places or the words move places. Sometimes they just blur. And when I'm out and about, it's things like curbs and steps often look quite flat to me. Again, something that can be variable for different people, but for me, most things just tend to look flat. So I find that quite difficult. I would say it's my mobility that's affected the most by my nystagmus. I've had it, I imagine, since I was born. I don't know when I was diagnosed with nystagmus, to be quite honest, but it's affected me all throughout school and things like that, so it's something that's been in my life for years and years. In terms of treatment, nowadays I wouldn't really have the advice on that, so I'm not going to try and cover it. I imagine there are different treatments available. The biggest thing that I think I want to talk about is, if you have nystagmus or you have a child who has nystagmus, please don't panic. I think in general with blindness and eye conditions, there's such panic in people who have it, or again in parents, and they're so worried about what's going to happen and how their life's going to be and what they will and won't be able to do. And honestly, I wish doctors would give news differently and would be more supportive, because it's not a horrible sentence to have nystagmus. It's really not. I'm not saying some days aren't hard, because sometimes it is hard and there are things I find difficult. But there are two things my doctor told my mum that I wouldn't be able to do. The first one is to ride a two-wheel bike, which I can. Not in a very straight line, but I can do it. And the second one is drive a car. No, I can't drive a car, but that is because of my vision as a whole. It is not because of my nystagmus. People with nystagmus can potentially drive. There are all different things that come into play. Also, if you can't drive, that doesn't mean you're going to have a bad life. I have such an issue in the sense that it's seen as such a negative thing. Obviously any disability comes with negatives and they are hard, but I want people to be more optimistic about it and know that nystagmus doesn't mean bad things are going to happen in their life and they won't be able to achieve and they're not going to be able to get through school, because you can and you will. You find ways around it and you do what you need to do. Nystagmus is, albinism and nystagmus are the two conditions that affect me the most, and I've never, apart from driving, I've never found anything that I haven't found a way round of doing. I try everything. I don't think you need to sit and ask, well, will my child be able to do this, or will I be able to do that in the future? Just try. You need to go by your own judgment, not by what doctors are telling you, because doctors might say you're not going to be able to do this and you're not going to be able to do that, but if you try it, you'll be able to do it. Do you think if a doctor had told my parents I can't ride a two-wheel bike, my older sister was riding her bike, so I wanted to do it, so I tried it and I did it. So I guess this Nystagmus Awareness Day, the biggest thing I want to do is to tell people not to worry about it. It's the same thing I always say. Having a visual impairment is not a life... It is life-changing to have a visual impairment, but it's not life-limiting unless you let it. It doesn't have to be life-limiting all the time, especially with nystagmus, because it's so variable. So please just take everything in your stride. Don't let it scare you. Try things. Have fun. You don't need to let it hold you back in everything. Some things it will, and I understand that more than anyone, of course. And if anyone, any parents or any people who have nystagmus want to message me and ask any questions of how I've done certain things, or if I've got any advice, please message me. Me sharing on Nystagmus Awareness Day, as some of you have probably seen, helped one of my friends get an early diagnosis for her daughter, and so it's something I really want to continue to share and continue to speak about, because I think it's so important. There's not enough awareness for the condition, and there's definitely not enough people out there saying, if you have nystagmus, you can still do all the things that everyone else does. You just have to find your way of doing it. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. I tried to keep it short, but I rambled on a little bit. Thank you so much for listening, and drop your questions below and answer as many as I can. Thanks so much, guys.